In all negotiations, particularly this one, parties may be divided into different categories. Those who are there on the table, in this case, the Congress and the Obama administration, and those who are not on the table but are key and interested in the outcome of the negotiation, and the success of whatever settlement or agreement reached depends on the cooperation that they have given. In this case, we identify some members of the international community and some foreign countries as crucial partners in this negotiation. Why is this important? The US effort to counter terrorism across the globe is done in partnership with other countries. And apart from that, the international law is implicated in this case. So there are many obligations under international human rights, international humanitarian law that the US is expected to respect and abide by. So we started by identifying these interested parties, and we identify the following, and you can read the report for a more detailed explanation. The countries to which detainees have been transferred. Already some detainees have been transferred to some countries. The countries who have expressed interest in helping the US resettle some of the detainees that are already in detention, and countries of origin from which these detainees come from. And then at the same time, of course, the UN and other agencies that are affiliated to the UN. Of course, international human rights organizations like the Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, Human Rights First, and many more domestic and international organizations that have expressed strong views and interests since the time when the Guantanamo detention facility was opened. Apart from the parties, the Obama administration, before he was elected, he promised the U.S. Citizens and the members of the international community that he will do everything possible to close Guantanamo, which he described as a scar in the good image of the United States of America across the globe as a moral leader in the areas of human rights and humanitarian law. So the world is now watching. So apart from the fact that it is right under international law to close Guantanamo, another important interest that the U.S. has in this issue is the fact that it is in its national security interests, and it will further protect, preserve, and uplift our values, our democratic values. And of course, it will assist us in our relationship with our allies who have threatened to withdraw their cooperation if Guantanamo is not closed. So I think there are a lot of things to be benefited in terms of the US stand to benefit by closing Guantanamo because it will restore its image in the international community, and of course it will also facilitate cooperation with other allies that believe that Guantanamo violates the provision of international law. However, there are many challenges associated with this particular project and some of the issues that we have raised. One is that Article 3 of the Convention Against Torture, which US is a signatory to, demands that no person or no detainee should be returned to a country where he may likely be detained. And at the same time, the current situation in the Middle East is highly precarious and unpredictable, and that may really have an impact on the outcome, particularly the international dimension of this negotiation. The fact that the US has now a divided Congress and the politicization of the whole issue will also make things really difficult. And in addition to that, there is no any credible pressure on the US now from the international community to close the Guantanamo Bay facility. And apart from that, some of the parties we mentioned above in our report are really pursuing for accountability of what the previous administration did. And this may not necessarily be what the Obama administration want to pursue. These are some of the challenges. But we have come out with some recommendations, and we've explained this in detail in our report. But some of the things we mentioned in the report is that there is a need for the administration of Obama to set up a committee that will convene a conference of stakeholders at the international level to discuss these issues with the view of developing an intergovernmental framework for dealing with this issue. Already there's a partnership at country level between two countries, but the government need to have something more than an ad hoc plan, really a clear, comprehensive framework for collaboration and cooperation with foreign countries. And at the same time, the Obama administration should set up a committee that will study practices in some countries, especially in Europe, how they handle this issue and what the US can learn from them. And apart from that, they should put pressure on countries of origin of these detainees to take them back and not to torture them. This is a brief summary of the dimension, the international dimension, but I encourage you to read the report.